Welcome back. I'm MTG Joe, and today we have Black-White Angels in Standard on MTG Arena. So this is a mid-range deck, fairly similar to one of the 5.0 lists. I made a couple of changes, just made it a little bit more controlling, just to my preference. But the deck itself consists of the past season's Red-White Angels, where you have your Adanto Vanguards and Tocatli Honor Guards as your 2-drops. Tocatli shuts off a lot of the Sultai lists and just creature entering the battlefield. Adanto Vanguard's just a resilient threat. We have 2 Cast Down, 1 Moment of Craving, 3 Resplendent Angel as part of Angel Package, 2 Shalai, 2 Seraph, 2 Lyra, and 1 Angel of Grace. We also play 4 History of Benalia. I've liked Kaya in our Black-White Orzhov Control deck. If you haven't checked that out, there's a few videos up right now on that. She's been surprisingly very good. 4 Mortifies, 2 Conclave Tribunals, a Binding, a Contempt as our kind of catch-all removal, and 2 Karn as card draws. This mana base is pretty standard, 4 duels, 1 memorial, just to cycle some angels and some basics. The sideboard, we're playing 4 Duress, 2 Dawn of Hope, 2 Consume, Consecrate, which another card that I've liked out of the side. Actually, we've been playing this main deck in the Orzhov Control. Second Binding, Settle, 2 Kaya's Wrath, and an Ethereal Absolution. So we'll test this out. See in terms of removal if we need to make any changes. So just a reminder, if you haven't done so already, the best way to support the channel is to just click that subscribe button in the bottom right. It gives you instant notifications whenever we come up with a new video, as well as helps me just build up the basis for the channel to keep helping me push out new videos to you, the great viewer. So this is one of my favorite types of archetypes, just like the black-white grind them out value. As I mentioned in the channel, we've been playing a lot of Orzhov Control. This one's just a little bit more proactive. We have a lot of efficient beaters in the sky. So this hand's not doing enough. We'll mulligan, and we'll keep this hand. 4th line's fine. Oh, sorry, 3rd line. So we can a Vanguard into Seraph, hopefully, into Lyra, which is quite a nice curve. So this looks like it could be a fog list. This opponent has Syncopate, Revitalize. Yeah, so this looks like a Bant fog list. Haven't played this in a while, actually. A lot of them have either moved to Nexus of Gates or Teamer, as it closes out the games faster. So they'll tap down here, play a 2nd Vanguard, pass turn. Next turn we'll Seraph. They don't have Absorb mana up, which is relevant at this point. They chose to have the Hallowed Fountain come into play tapped. They'll Revitalize. Play the Seraph here. Pass turn. So these decks likely, so they have the Wilderness Reclamation. A Mortify off the top would be really good for us. So we'll attack with all. and just play out a second Seraph. This way, if they do have the sweeper, we at least are left with 4 spirits, and opponent calls it quits. This is where like the red base versions, I like them a little bit more. So in this matchup, we want the duress. We want the second binding. So they're probably going to bring in Teferi as well. Do they bring in Carnage Tyrants? I think we have enough. Let's go down the cast downs, go down that. Let's go down the Honor Guards. Do we want to bring in one of these? Kaya is another way to threaten. Yeah, we'll run it like this. If they show Carnage Tyrants, then for game 3, we'll bring in the Consummate. There isn't question whether we want to bring in the Dawn of Hope, but I feel like once they chain in, it's just not aggressive enough. If we're paying 4 mana for a 1/1 each turn, if they start getting into Nexus loops, it's not going to do enough for us. Decent pressure. We could Benalia into Karn here. We also have Resplendent Angel. The Growth Spiral here. They play Search. So we'll go with the Benalia. Hopefully, okay, so they don't have the negate. We can try jamming out Karn here. Let's go to attacks first, see what they do. Let's bring out Karn. So the insight here. I actually like just putting on more pressure this way. Because next turn we can attack and then Conclave. Oh, so they bring in the deputies, which is worth noting. So let's bring in Resplendent Angel first. I'll attack. Actually, that was a misplay on our part, because they could kill Karn now. That was a misplay. We can turn on Resplendent Angel next turn though, so if they don't have a removal spell. They insight here. So they want the search back. So they chose not to. So like this, we can apply a lot of pressure without committing much to the board. We can actually drop Lyra next turn as well. And then that turns on as our life gain. We'll see if they have the Cleansing Nova. They keep digging. So here we'll get the Lyra. Play out the Lyra. They take 9 in the air. They can see about the trade, but and this is where like you'd think they'd bring in at least the 1 or 2 sweepers. So they're digging with Ascanta. The good thing here is if they have Settle, we'll know to play around it. So Revitalize is fine. We have 19 power in this guy. An opponent concedes, so taking down Bant. Likely Wilderness Reclamation Nexus could have been control, but deck seemed pretty strong so far. We'll take it for another spin. Awesome, another Gutter Bones. Needed one of those. So this is what I like in terms of a deck where a lot of these decks just tend to dirtle. And if you can apply a good amount of pressure, then it really helps to just close out the games. Like we have control elements to it. Early removal if needed, and then some heavy hitters we'll keep. So we'll lead off on the plains. So this looks like a teamer build or some sort of gates deck. Of note, they drew, didn't have an extra land, so they're digging right now. So here I'll play out the Resplendent Angel. It's a good clock in the air. If they want to waste the Gates Ablaze on just Resplendent Angel, they can. We'll probably drop Vanguard as well. Actually, Tocatli's not bad here. If they have the other Crisis, it won't enter the battlefield with any 1/1 counters on it. They can Crisis for 3. And if need be, we can just pay 4 life to save this after Gates Ablaze. Sure. It enters a battlefield with X/1/1 counters. That should have killed it. I gotta look that one up. So here we're just going to Mortify. Just play the Lyra, or the second Tocatli. Plaza Harmony comes in, gains him some life back up. So we're hitting for 8, so we're still on a 2-turn clock unless they play another Crisis. So double Reclamation's pretty rough here. So they have 16. Okay, so they have the Nexus. So they might have the loop going now. I'll just auto pass for the time being. Let's see what. Okay, so they're going to end step. They're floating the mana. Do they have enough to explosion us? They floated it at the wrong time. They did in their main phase instead of their end step, so they just lost like 7 mana. So we want the bindings in this matchup. We're actually not too poorly suited against Niv. They're 15, 18 mana, so they can hit us for 14. So they did have lethal if they didn't pass through. Opponent's trying to figure out what to do here. Kind of wish they just banned Nexus and best of 3 too. It's not necessarily that it's unbeatable, it's just you get these board states where it's just like, play your turn. We got our 1/1 beat, 1/3 beaters. So opponent might just use all their timeouts here. So they 14. So they'll have to go to discard here. They did likely draw. A Nexus though. What did they discard? So we're dead next turn anyways. So we need to try to gain some life. Alright, so if the opponent can kill us, they can. There's a non-zero chance they also just time themselves out. Sorry about that. Play first. We'll keep this end. Thought we were plugged in at the laptop. Alright. So here we have history into binding, so hopefully catch something with the binding. Double history is actually really good here. So opponents likely short on lands as well, for them to play Plaza onto. Tribunal as backup is even better. So we're likely just going to be able to ride these knights to victory. Also, Gates Ablaze won't work for them. They need to play another gate, which would come into play tapped, and they'd be a turn behind. And this is where just being very aggressive. Yeah, so opponent concedes here. They did get stuck on lands. We'll run back the same here. Them being teamer, they could have Star of Extinction. They might bring in like a Cannonade out of the sideboard against us. It's funny, we haven't seen either of the Shalais in any games so far. I think we keep. We have a lot of answers against what they're doing. And this can... I won't be able to, okay, perfect. So we hit the land. We don't have the double white just yet for Resplendent Angel, but we can blow up whatever. So here we'll duress, get rid of the Reclamation. Growth Spiral. And we can just start applying some pressure this way. Opponent can get down for 2. They opt not to. Just plus up, play out an angel, and this will allow us to pressure. Gain 3 life. So it'd be really good if they play this now. Okay, perfect. So we could binding this, and then they won't be able to cast any future Crisis. Even if they blow up the binding, the Crisis still dies. Then if we can drop a Lyra next turn, we have Guild Summit. So probably shouldn't have shocked myself. Still think we go Lyra. At this point, they already drew their cards, so the Guild Summit's not that bad. I don't think they can win through Wilderness Reclamation at this point anyways. They'll be paying 4, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so they can 7 us. Okay, so they have Gates Ablaze here. Wilderness Reclamation. So here I'm going to Resplendent Angel and then blow up the Wilderness Reclamation. See if they brought in counters. The Nexus of Fate. So we do have 5 damage on them right now. It's probably another Guild Summit. It makes you tap weird. You have to individually tap your lands, it won't auto tap. So second Summit here. They play Root. So draw 4 cards. So if they might get into a chain here. So if they have Nexus, us being at only 22, 4, so 1, 2. So they have the Reclamation, they have Nexus, so they might have the loop going. Another Nexus. Oh, there's nothing we can do, so we'll just auto pass. So they're just going to face here. If we could get a turn in anywhere, then. But they'll probably just chain it through. Every land draws them 2 cards and shots us 2. Our deck's actually not too bad against Niv in like traditional builds. Lyra blocks it. So they'll get 2 more shots here. Two more. And with 20 cards in their deck, they're pretty much always going to draw a Nexus. Yep, we'll just concede here. So that was the deck through a couple matches. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and then we'll get another video going up shortly. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.